Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Ross, introduce the guest, man.
We have Cage Warriors undefeated, flawless Nathan Fletcher. Nathan, how'd you like that for a new nickname?
Flawless Nathan Fletcher. That's not bad, actually. That's the best one I've heard yet, I'll be honest.
Well, you're welcome. If you want to rock that on fight night, you're more than welcome to.
Do you know what? We'll see if that sticks. I'll float it around the lads in the gym, see what they think. And but I like that. That could be a winner. So yeah, thank you.
How long did it take you to come up with that, Ross?
All of 30 seconds. I was like, the fella's undefeated. His record is flawless. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and he's in there, and he's in there scalping heads. I don't know. Is it Street Fighter where like you beat them, or was it Tekken where you beat them without getting hit and it goes flawless victory? That's Nathan Fletcher right there.
Well, there
yeah, I'll be honest. I never played Street Fighter or any of that, but I like the name Flawless Nathan Fletcher. We'll take that. It's good.
Yeah, you're doing great things. We've been in touch with Nathan since his last appearance in the Cage Warriors trilogy, and like that clip, that submission clip went viral. And ever since then, we've been staying in touch. And it's only like right now that your fight has been announced. So, Nate, you're meant to be fighting on the Cage Warriors trilogy on Saturday, 20th of March in London. When did you first hear or who your opponent was going to be, and when did you actually sign the contract?
So I knew I was going to be fighting on the next trilogy pretty much straight after my last fight, because whilst we were at the Cage Warriors Hotel last time, Graham kind of laid out a plan for the year ahead and saying he was going to do a few more trilogies. So I knew I was going to be fighting around March anyway. I found out about my opponent probably, I got the name maybe late January, and then I signed my contract February, probably like mid-Feb. So I've known for a while now that I was going to be fighting Martin Yoni.
Good old Michelle. So one thing I did want to ask you, Nathan, would you consider yourself an expert at scalping people's O's? Because believe it or not, I think you've had 4 fights and you fought 3 undefeated opponents and you've beaten them all. So would you say you're an expert at taking those O's?
Those are your words, not mine. But I'll agree with you. I would say I'm an expert at taking people's O's. So Martin Yoni's O has got to go.
But here's another one for you, Nathan. What would you think of the Scouse Samurai? I like that one as well.
Well, I'm not actually a Scouser, am I? I live.
Then scrap that. Forget that one.
Yeah, the Scouse Samurai. I might get a few funny looks there because I'm actually I live outside of Liverpool, so I can't call myself a Scouser. But I like Flawless, to be honest. That when you said that, it kind of lit a little light bulb, and I was like, Flawless. The alliteration's there. Flawless Fletcher.
Yeah, and I've been introduced by Bruce Buffer, so like I know how that feels, you know.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, I have to get Bruce to do one for me, Flawless.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, look, I have my Fight Island shirt on, ready to rock for when you get the call, you know.
Oh, belt set. Do you reckon they'll still be doing Fight Islands then by the time I'm in the UFC?
I think Fight Island's here to stay one way or the other. I think it's going to be at very least an annual event.
Like a Champions League thing, or wasn't a WrestleMania, if you would. You know what I mean? Just the pinnacle. You know, I think they will do that.
Yeah, they've just built the big stadium, haven't they, now? So it would be stupid not to go back and use that, like, I suppose. So,
exactly.
Yeah, they probably will. They probably will go back, yeah.
Nate, another thing I noticed after your last fight, you went up to the cameras, you made sure the camera was looking right at you, and you're like, I'm coming for all the bantamweights. Like, where does this confidence come from? Is it just like training with the likes like Paddy and Molly, or is it just like built up within you?
So with that, I knew I wasn't going to get a post-fight interview because with all the other fights they were doing because of COVID or whatever, even though everyone's COVID tested, they're not doing in-cage interviews afterwards. So I was like, I'm going to have to find the camera, go up and say me piece. And I don't know, that's just, the confidence comes from my training. Do you know what I mean? I know how good I am based off the people I train with every day and based off how much hard work I put in. But I actually said something like line them up, didn't I? And I've been hashtagging that on all my posts. I'll try to make it stick as a little catchphrase. Line them all up with a bowling ball emoji, and I'll knock them all down. So, I just little things like that. Me and one of my mates, my mate Alex Rimmer, we always say things like that to each other, just like hype each other up. And he might have said it to me once when we were getting a coffee after training, just like line them all up, lads. You'll knock them all down or whatever, something like that. Do you know what I mean? So, that's where that come from.
Ross, that's a pretty smart marketing, if you ask me.
No, it really, really is. It reminds me back of me and Baz were at like a K1 night in Dublin, and one of the lads goes, the They should call me the electrician because I'm always sparking cunts out, and I just thought that was brilliant.
That's a belter. That's quality.
Yeah, no, it really, really is. But Nathan, let's talk a bit about the fight. Obviously, Martigoni's undefeated. Where do you see you have the advantage over him?
Everywhere, to be honest, but predominantly my grappling, I think, is a much higher level than his. My conditioning, I think I'm fitter than him. He is powerful because he's knocked people out. I've seen that. You know what I mean? He's caught people with head kicks with like overhand rights and stuff. So he's got the power, but I don't think his striking is very technical. I think he kind of throws like 1 or 2 shots at a time. There's no combinations. He's not really setting anything up. I think he's just quite he's probably knocked someone out and fell in love with it. So he throws a lot into his shots, and then sometimes it connects. I don't know the level of competition that he's been knocking out, because he didn't get anywhere near knocking out Wesley Meyer, who's obviously an elite striker. But yeah, I'm confident wherever this fight takes place that I'm going to have the advantage in all areas.
Do you think, knowing that you were meant to be fighting him in the build up to this like it's just that it was a better camp rather than just training towards like a faceless body?
Yeah, I do like having that opponent in mind, because then every morning when you're waking up, every night when you're going to bed, you can picture yourself fighting him. So the visualization part of it's a lot more realistic than just trying to visualize yourself getting into the cage. Now, when I think about it, I can see myself stood opposite him, and I can feel exactly what it's going to feel like when I'm stood opposite him. And then also things like when I'm doing my shadow boxing rounds, all stuff like that, I'm trying to envision me fight with him. Envision. And because a lot of my previous fights, I've had pullouts all throughout the camp. So it's been like 2 weeks out, the opponent changes or something. So this time it's been nice knowing that I've been fighting him for the whole time, and I can prepare solely for my fight with him. So yeah.
Yeah, we actually got in touch with your good friend Paddy Pimlet as well. We asked him to send in a few words on your behalf. He goes, Nathan's one of the hardest working MMA fighters going, lad, and match that with the talent he's got. He's going to be in the UFC with me, making waves. Trust me. When you hear something like that from Paddy, who's just like renowned around Liverpool and England, how does that make you feel?
Good, yeah. Paddy knows I'm with him every day. You know what I mean? We've done this whole fight camp together. Both been grinding, so he knows how good I am. I know how good he is. It means a lot, but he knows because he sees me in the gym every day. So it's good to have someone in his position, because Paddy's going to be in the UFC after this fight. Like if he gets past, or when he gets past David or the other Italian kids, Martinez, the other Italian. I think Paddy will be going to the UFC. So it's good to have him there. And, keeping the door open for all the other guys in our gym coming through, because in the next sort of 3 or 4 years, I think there's going to be a lot of people from Next Gen getting signed to the UFC. I'm fighting on cage wise for world titles and stuff like that. So, Paddy's the boy. So
Nathan, one thing I have sort of seen, which is behind the scenes, which some people might not know about you, is your brother's big into CrossFit, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's very, very strong as well. I was watching some of the numbers he's putting up, and like he doesn't seem that big. I'd say he's 70 odd kilos by the looks of him. Yeah. Have you been doing some of that training with him to improve your strength and conditioning?
Yeah, so my brother, he smashes out the CrossFit. My best mate Alex is basically like not far off going to CrossFit games. He's an absolute beast. And then like all me mates do CrossFit as well. So my hobby outside of fighting is doing CrossFit with the lads. So it just obviously it plays very well into my strength and conditioning. So we've got like a little set up in the garage.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen your brother putting up the big numbers there. I think. What's he weigh, by the way?
George is about 78 kilo at the minute.
Yeah. I think I was on back squatting 150 or something like that. Like, seriously strong kid.
Yeah, and he can clean like 115, 110 as well, power clean. So he's a beast. And my little brother, you want to see him now, because he's about 80 odd kilo. He's bigger than both of us, and he's starting to get into his training and doing a bit of lifting. And he's already benching like 90 kilos at like 16 and stuff like that. So he's a beast as well.
That's what happens, the third brother comes along, and like he starts doing the things earlier on in his life than you guys were. Yeah. Next thing you know, he's a monster. But so athleticism runs in the family, one might say.
Yeah, definitely. Even my little sister, I've got a little sister who's 13, and she like did gymnastics for a load of years, and she's a sick athlete as well. Do you know what I mean? She can do all mad handstands, and she got like serious core strength and stuff. So we've all grown up playing sports and stuff and being into our training.
That's brilliant. And make sure you keep that up as well. Obviously, you are about just the younger lineage. It's great for people that are watching this now and then following your rise. It's to see you have that determination and passion and you love it. That was another key reason to bring you on as well. And that's obviously why Cage Warriors are pushing you as well.
Yeah, I'm starting to notice that now. They've been posting about me quite a lot for this one, so I'm happy because sometimes I wasn't really feeling the love, as they seemed like they were posting about the other big prospects, but I wasn't getting any love. But now, obviously, as I'm progressing in my career, they're starting to take notice, so it's good.
Yeah. In fairness, not gonna lie, me and Barry are very good at picking out the Cage Warrior prospects. Like we've had Paul Hughes on the show, we've had Ian Gary on the show, we've had Paddy on the show. And then we've had yourself on the show, you know what I mean? So, like, there's no bums around these parts,
No, only the best on this show, eh?
Only the best.
I feel privileged, boys.
Nate, can you tell us a bit what's actually happening around the Liverpool area with the MMA scene? Because like so many people are blowing up. It's really, really interesting to see. And there's always been this sort of connection between like Dublin and Liverpool. There's just something about it. Like there's just what is it exactly that's going on around Liverpool?
To be honest, Liverpool was always like a boxing city, wasn't it? So a lot of good strikers coming from Liverpool. But then Paul Rimmer has pretty much been like a pioneer of the jiu-jitsu in Liverpool. I think he was the first black belt in Liverpool. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he was. And then ever since he's come back over, because he went over to the States to get his black belt, he's come back over and opened up Next Gen. And then obviously there was like all Jason Tan and that as well, who done a similar sort of thing. And now like the majority of I know our gym anyway, are like grappling heavy fighters. Do you know what I mean? So it's been like a big sort of surge in jiu-jitsu as well in Liverpool. But I don't know, I just think people from Liverpool are just hard working, aren't they? It's like a working class city, so they've all got that mentality where they're willing to go in and put in the work in order to reap the rewards. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's just that really.
What about when the UFC came to Liverpool? Well, obviously Darren Till was headlining against Wonderboy Thompson. Were you at that event?
No, I didn't go to that one. A few of my mates did. I went to a UFC London like the year later. I think it was Till Masvidal. I went and watched that one, and that was a better fight.
Edwards and Nelson as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Edwards and Gunnar Nelson. That was the co-main. Yeah. That was a sick fight as well.
And when you were at that event, were you sort of like, that's going to be me one day, or what was sort of going through your brain?
Yeah, it was sick because I've been to obviously a lot of Cage Warriors events, even when I wasn't fighting them, and watched from the crowd when like Paddy's been on or with the teammates. But that UFC's just got a different feel to it. Do you know what I mean? Like with Bruce Buffer there doing all the announcements and just everything with the production. Don't get me wrong, Cage Warriors is sick and it's a boss atmosphere, especially the Echo shows that they did when Paddy was fighting for the belt and when Molly was fighting for the belt and stuff. But that UFC's just another level, and it was definitely like a little moment when I got there. And I sat down, I looked at the cage, and I just thought, like, this isn't too far away for me. So I was taking it all in, definitely.
I think one thing that makes Cage Warriors so credible is that they are seen as the top European feeder league into the UFC, and like they don't pretend that they're anything else. And like Graham Boylan himself is so active at trying to help those fighters get to their end goal, which is the UFC. So I think Cage Warriors does an unbelievable job of it, and then they do a good job of building that platform. And you're right, like when Paddy did fight in the Echo, he's blowing the roof off the place, and I'm sure at some stage you'll blow the roof off the Echo as well, whether it's under the Cage Warriors banner or it's under the UFC banner. It's definitely going to happen. I can envision it happening. So Nathan, I suppose one of the main questions is, how do you see yourself getting the job done come fight night?
I visualized it going many ways. In your head, you always like, but I pretty much think about it every day, how the fight's going to go. I'm going to say I can see me submitting him, to be honest, because I think
that's what I would have bet on as well.
Yeah, it's not hard, is it? You look at the other fight.
No, it's just so clean the way you do it. You take your time and it's so clean. So like that obviously would have been my bet as well. But yeah, carry on. Sorry, I just had to put it.
No, it's sad. So I think I'm going to put on a grappling clinic, and I do think I'm going to get the finish, so I can see me submitting him. Another thing I've seen is like TKO from a good solid grappling position with ground and pound. But I just feel like when I'm in the cage and I get to people's backs very well, and the pressure's on them, I can feel them panicking. And like in the gym, it's different. Like catching rear nakeds is probably harder in the gym because people are then, you know what I mean, there's not as much on the line. But I feel like every time in the fight, when I get people's backs, I almost know the fight's won because I can feel them panicking bit by bit. I know I'm going to end up getting that submission eventually. So we'll say rear naked choke submission. I'm not going to say a round. I don't really know what round, but I can see me getting the job done by rear naked choke.
If I had to guess, I'd say the second round, maybe even third, just because I know how strong he is. So therefore, you know what I mean? Like he by the time he gets to the halfway through the second round, third round, he might have gassed out a bit, and then that's when
it'll come on.
That's when flawless. That's when flawless gets the job done.
We're gonna have to clip this after the fight as well. But like obviously, Nate, like you're young in your career, you're obviously like you're still undefeated. How many times do you envisage yourself fighting this year? Because obviously this is going to be the first one of the year to kick it off, 2021. You know.
Yeah, ideally 4 times. I'd be happy with 3, but last year I only got to fight twice, and the year before I only fought twice because I had a pull out. I was meant to fight on Cage Warriors Liverpool in September, and I had to pull out. But that gave me the opportunity. Then I ended up fighting Kieran Mulholland in Ireland in Cork. So that was a sick experience. So this year I'd like to get 4 fights. I know they're going to do trilogies in obviously March, June they're doing a trilogy, September, October time they're doing a trilogy, and then the end of the year. So they're the 4 dates that are set in stone, and then they're going to be putting in shows as and when, depending on what the governments decide to do with lockdowns and stuff. So if I could get on those 4 trilogies at least, that'd be a good productive year for me.
There is a card scheduled for California at some stage, I think, in June. Would you like to fight on that card as well?
Of course, that would be unreal. Yeah.
Would you like to go to America? It's like I might be sick that week.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know.
And Nathan, would the goals be 4-0, capture the Cage Warriors bantamweight title, and then get signed to the UFC straight away? Would that be the goal?
That would be the ideal scenario.
Are you comfortable to go to the UFC before you get the belt if the call came?
Yeah, I would. I mean, it's always been a goal of mine to win the Cage Warriors belt, but the ultimate goal is the UFC belt. So if they did call and I thought it was a good fight and I was ready and my coaches all thought I was ready, then I'd definitely take that. I was just going to say about the belt. One of my teammates, Liam Gittins, is a little bit further on in his career than me at the minute. He's 6-1 and he's fighting Brian Booland. So that's a big fight. And when Liam beats him, I think they're probably going to give him a title shot. So that might slow me down slightly, but that's not the worst thing because, like you're saying, I'm only young, I'm only 23. So
yeah, exactly.
If Liam does get the title shot next and wins it, he'll defend that a couple of times before he gets signed. So that'll give me a bit of room, a few fights there to play with and build my record before I then fight for the belt. Do you know what I mean? So that's probably the way I'm seeing it going.
One thing I want to bring up with is with you going to the UFC, have you discussed with your coaches or your management team on, being asked to fill in as a late notice replacement? Because I know Reese McKee filled in as a late notice replacement and it didn't go his way, and subsequently he's been cut from the promotion. Have you brought that up? Because we had Ian Gary on our show maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think it was, Barry, and he said there's no way he'd ever fill in as late replacement. He said, if he's doing this thing in the UFC, he wants to be signed for his credentials and he wants to be, given time to prepare for his debut. So would you fill in on late notice or would you wait? Or would it depend on the scenario?
Yeah, I think it all depends. Like, I'm one of them. I'm always training. I'm always fit because even when I've not got a fight coming up and I get a bit of time off, whatever, I'm doing CrossFit with the lads. So I'm always in shape. So if something did come up and say it's like 3 or 4 weeks away, that's perfect time for me to take it. So I definitely would. But it all depends on the fight, the timing and stuff like that. I actually went to Fight Island with Molly when she fought over there and the team. And I said to Paul, like, if there's any like failed COVID tests here or anything, I'm here. I was 3-0 at the time.
Even a heavyweight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd take it. Do you know what I mean? Because the UFC would definitely sign you off that if you're stepping in last minute, just coming as a training partner. And I was like, game to get in there. But
it gave you the feels.
Yeah, definitely gave me the feels. I was shadow boxing in the hotel room, thinking this could be my time now. Could be getting side, but obviously that never happened. So
we know exactly how you feel. Myself and Ross were featured on the UFC 259 countdown video, and we were like, "Oh my god, we're on the way up." All this.
You were, weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Who was that?
So
what fight was that with?
It was going from transition through Blakovic to Adesanya. Ross was announcing it on the official UFC 259 countdown card. So like
I noticed that when I was
we know exactly how you feel. Like it's like that's the great thing about getting fighters on, etc. Like they're on this like they're on this journey, and like myself and Ross, as much cliche as a journey could be, like we're on that one as well.
You're on your
We
own
started
journey,
we started just doing stuff in my kitchen, just talking about immigration and stuff, and now all of a sudden we're on like UFC 259 countdown videos. It's crazy.
Well, that's
it's an amazing
sick. That's
sport.
some achievement, yeah. That's
Yeah, it
quite
just goes to show anyone that's starting anything, like, I mean, it's going to take time, but if you keep going, you love doing it, like, who knows where you can end up. Like, look at all three of us here, you know.
Exactly, yeah. It literally is as simple as that. Like, anyone starting anything, I just feel like if you turn up every day and put the work in, who's to say it's not going to be you that can be the best? You know what I mean? Because someone's got to be. So if I'm doing everything right, why can't it be me? And it can. So that's kind of the mentality I've got when it comes to fighting. Like, I'm doing everything right. Fucking, I just had a little notification. Then my opponents just tagged me in a post. I wonder what that's about.
Let's get the live reaction.
Yeah. I was like, Michelle, I was like, that's me fucking opponent. That he's tagged me in a post. I wonder.
Will we hit pause and then you can check it out and then tell us?
Do you want me to?
Yeah.
Go on.
I'll pause it.
I'll pause it.
Right. Okay, Nate. So what did it say?
So he's put up the fight poster, and he said he actually gave me a little compliment. He said this is a young undefeated complete fighter. So that's a compliment there.
That's true.
Then he said something about it being a dark and stormy night because the Italian thunder will strike again. So that's his.
So he's
little,
a poet.
He's a poet, yeah. That's his little promo. It's nice, fair play. I appreciate the compliment of him. So
yeah, the two of you are just trying to do this for yourselves and your family, and then your almost legacy, you would say as well. But
yeah, exactly.
Nate, like, we're not going to keep you here too long, but we want to, like, we do really appreciate you coming on, and like myself and Ross love like looking around the MMA scene, who's doing things correctly and representing themselves and their teams great. And like, obviously your team has been brilliant. Paddy's been on before, Molly's been on before. You're doing great things there, so we really appreciate you coming on. Ross, anything else to say before we wrap it up?
No, Nathan, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Oh yeah, any sponsors or anything?
Yeah, go on. I'll just give a quick shout out then to all my sponsors. So I've got Finer Filters, which are like one of my main sponsors. They've been looking after me since I was an amateur, literally for like the last 3.5-4 years. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to cover all my training costs and that, and do this full time. So big shout out to them. Jack Harper, who's another one of my sponsors, and again helps out with all the cost of my training camp. So wouldn't be able to do it without him. I've got Macro Chef, who do all my meal prep for me in fight camp and make the weight cuts dead easy. So shout out to them. And then just everyone in Next Gen, all my training partners, all my mates, my bird, my mum, my dad who support me.
Make sure you get the bird in there.
The bird, yeah. I'll venture there. She won't be happy if I left her out. So the girlfriend, and who else? Who else can I plug? Did I say Peak Performance, me strength and conditioning gym? Thanks to them as well, because they get me in naughty shape for the fight. So
and your brothers.
And my brothers, yeah, they could fall under the family bracket. So, yeah.
That's brilliant. Nate, that's brilliant. We're going to have to get you on again soon. Make sure to watch Nate on March 20th, Saturday, Cage Warriors, not to be missed. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and as always,
stay energized.